Hello and welcome back to the Watford Way. Today, as we look back on Watford's 2-1 defeat at home to Leicester City, the league leaders picked up another 3 points at Vicarage Road, and Enzo Maresca's side march on to ultimately Premier League promotion and Premier League football next season. And however, for Watford, in another perspective, we're now on a pretty poor and dire run of form at the moment. And I'm a little bit concerned going forward, albeit I do think there is a little bit of hope and optimism with our upcoming run of games, which I'll touch on before the end of this video. But yeah, looking back at the game yesterday, actually it was a lot more competitive and close than I initially anticipated. I was talking to a few people in the ground before the game started, and we was all taking a guess at how many goals Leicester City would score yesterday. And it ultimately only ended up being 2 goals, and Watford got a goal back through Emmanuel Dennis as well. And actually, in terms of Leicester City, I wasn't too impressed, really. I think in terms of actual great footballing sides to watch this season, I think Leeds have been better. I think Southampton have been better. I even think teams like Bristol City and Plymouth have played better football than Leicester at Vicarage Road. But what they have in abundance is quality in their starting 11 and also quality to bring off the bench as well. Mavididi come off the bench, Jamie Vardy come off the bench as well, which are ridiculous options to have in this division, let alone the starting 11 they put out originally as well. But yeah, it was a close game. I felt like second half Watford got better, especially with the triple substitution Valerian Ismail made with Ryan Andrews, Yasser Asprilla coming on as well. I felt like that kind of influenced the game even further, and especially Emmanuel Dennis coming on around the 60th minute mark too, just injected that bit of quality, that bit of pace, and ultimately Emmanuel Dennis's pressing led to Watford scoring their only goal of the game as well, via of course a Leicester City mistake. Let's go through the goals quickly. So Patson Daka opened the scoring for Leicester City. I can't remember who it was who went down in the penalty area, but from where I was sitting in the ground, it did look very soft. It looked like there was contact there, so I'm not going to say it wasn't a penalty. If we was in the Premier League and we had VAR and the referee hadn't given it, it probably would have been overturned, because there was contact from Chatverdatse. He comes storming through behind the Leicester City player. Yes, it was soft. Was it undeserved? Probably. But ultimately, you know, Patson Daka, quality player, he slotted it away and celebrated probably a little bit too much in front of the Watford fans in the Rookery end. And we got to half-time at 1-0, and I was relatively satisfied, I'd say, and comfortable at that point. I was expecting a 5 or 6-0 drumming, really. So to say we got to half-time at 1-0, and Watford had, you know, a few decent opportunities in the game at that point, especially down the left-hand side with Ken Sema and Jamal Lewis linking up. I would have absolutely taken the score 1-0 Leicester City at that moment in time. Second half comes around. I'm getting a little bit more positive, a little bit more optimistic. But then Ryan Porteous does what Ryan Porteous does. He comes storming out from his central centre-back position to press Leicester City. He basically runs from the Watford penalty area all the way to the Leicester City penalty area and leaves a load of space in behind, and Leicester City counter-attack on Watford, and Ricardo slots the second goal away for them. And at that point, you know, heads are down, morale's down, the crowd is quite quiet. And then Valerian Ismail, of course, makes that triple substitution I just told you about, with Ryan Andrews, Yasser Asprilla and Emmanuel Dennis coming on, injecting some technical quality, some pace, and ultimately, you know, they are 3 of the best players at the club, so you do expect Watford to improve when them 3 players come on the pitch. And improve we did. I felt our energy was better. We pressed Leicester a bit more. They looked on the back foot, you know, a bit more defensively as well. And ultimately, Emmanuel Dennis capitalised on a Leicester City mistake. I said in their match preview, they love to play out from the back. They love to hold the ball. And I think Leicester City maybe got a bit complacent. The goalkeeper playing a few short passes with his centre-backs. A loose ball, Emmanuel Dennis pounced on it and slotted it away to make it 2-1 to Leicester. And then from that point on, 70 minutes on really, Watford were pressing for the equalising goal. It never come around, but I do take some pride and positivity in the fact that we kept trying until the end. I think for me the concern is we've got some winnable games coming up now, and some games where you really think Watford should at least be winning a few of them, or at least having, you know, better performances. So I'm concerned that if we don't pick up points in the next few weeks, the morale will go down. And yeah, it's not going to look great for Watford if we don't start picking up our form again. So what do I take from the game? It was okay. It was an okay performance. But moving forward, yes, you know, we need to be starting Emmanuel Dennis as soon as possible. Andrews and the Spurs should be starting week out if possible. So ideally, you know, they shouldn't be coming off the bench to impact games when we're already losing. But look, Leicester City, you know, an expected win for them. They're going to go on to win the Championship ultimately. And Watford, again, tough one to take, but we move on to the next game. And I'll talk about the next game now, because the next game is against Norwich City away from home. And looking at our next, you know, 5 or 6 fixtures, really, I'd expect Watford to maybe pick up 2 or 3 wins from them. So we've got Norwich City away from home on Tuesday evening, which I will be doing a watch long for here on the Watford Way, so make sure to tune in for that. Then we have Rotherham away from home next weekend, a game you'd expect Watford to be very competitive in. Huddersfield at home the following weekend, you know, we should be picking up a win in that, really. Millwall have been struggling this season, the 2nd of March away from home. You know, again, you know, travelling away to Millwall in recent seasons has been tough for Watford, but they are a poor side generally. And then we have Swansea and Coventry after that. So some games coming up where, you know, you'd think Watford will capitalise on them. Hopefully, fingers crossed moving forward. It's just a shame to see Vacuum-Bayo go off with an injury so early on against Leicester City. So hopefully that's not too serious and it can get back as soon as possible. I think one final point to touch on for me, again, obviously Vacuum-Bayo went off in the 2nd minute with a hamstring injury. Mileta Rajovic replaced him. I hate doing this, I really do. Again, I say this all the time, he seems like a lovely bloke to talk to. However, unfortunately for me, I have to highlight this once again. He was outclassed completely in all aspects of the game yesterday. I don't know who particularly scouted Mileta Rajovic and thought he's up to the quality of the top teams in this division. I don't know who that was and who's to blame for recruiting him. What I would say is, while he is at the club, we have to be kind, give him patience, and when he does play, we have to support the guy. But I think the game yesterday, again, reiterated my opinion that he isn't quite up to, well, I say he isn't quite up to quality. He isn't up to the quality of a team who want to be chasing, you know, a high finish in the division. Ultimately, you want our goal scorer to, you know, impact the game in all areas, and he ultimately doesn't do that. So I think that's another weakness again for me, where Vacuum-Bayo has gone off injured. Emmanuel Dennis isn't yet fit, so we are going to have to persist with Rajovic for a few more games. So hopefully he does start to score again, but I would ask everyone to be kind also when commenting on his performances as well. So thanks so much for watching, I really do appreciate it. Norwich City is up next for Watford away from home, so make sure you check out our match preview very shortly. Make sure to subscribe to The Watford Way, and I'll catch you again very soon. Bye-bye.